This is the first of a series called Death by Vanity, or Cosmetics That Kill. We're still working on the name, but I'm gonna start this series off with hair removal. Undoubtedly the oldest cosmetic treatment that we know of, and this goes back to the ancient Egyptians. We know that they would completely remove their hair due to lice, but razors were found, tweezers were found, even recipes for depilatory creams. This one, for instance, the boiled bones of a bird mixed with gum and lard. Possibly a wax? Or how about the shell of a turtle, cooked, crushed, and mixed with hippo fat? Or how about this one, the blood from the vulva of a female hound? Uh-oh. I don't even know how that would work. So bizarre. Now let's go back to ancient Greece and ancient Rome. So body hair was associated with body odor and poor personal hygiene. So they would actually remove all of the body hair. And how would they do this? Tweezers. They tweezed off every single hair.
That one little patch looks sexy though.
Does it look good?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Again, safe, but damn, that sounds painful. As time goes on, things get more toxic. We didn't even have the FDA until 1938. That means products were completely unregulated. As a matter of fact, they would label products to be harmless and safe, even if they weren't. Now, I have a lot of wild stories to tell you about some not so safe products, even throughout the 20th century. But let's move on to the Renaissance era. And no, kids, I am not talking Beyonce. I am talking the 1500s. Listen to this 1532 recipe. Boil together a solution of 1 pint of arsenic and 1/8 of a pint of quicklime. Go to a baths or a hot room and smear medicine over the area to be depilated. When the skin feels hot, wash quickly with hot water so the flesh does not come off. What? That sounds frightening, although it sort of reminds me of some of the stinky creams we have today. You don't want to leave them on too long or they would possibly burn. This was at a time when they were using arsenic and quicklime, and it would remove the hair and possibly the skin. Now, there were safer alternatives in the 1500s. You could mix cat poop with vinegar and that would burn the hair off. And this seemed to be a very common treatment that women would use to get the very large forehead, so they would use it at the hairline. And not unlike modern times, we know Marilyn Monroe, Rita Hayworth, Kim Kardashian actually used electrolysis to shape the hairline. So things haven't changed that much, although cat poop and vinegar. So this extremely rare recipe used by great Moorish ladies to prevent their children from having hair under their arms or elsewhere because they don't like body hair. Now this, to modern eyes, a brutal recipe where the skin of recently born baby girls is burned using heated gold, and the resultant scarring would prevent hair growth. It seemed that this method was also used for forehead hair, and they would actually use a gold ducat ring and heat it so hot that they could just singe the skin and the scar would stop from the hair growing. They seem to really hate forehead hair because in the 1500s, Caterina Sforza in Gli Esperimenti, she says that they find it bruttissimo, which means very ugly. This recipe from Caterina Sforza actually uses egg white, mastic, which is a kind of glue. Actually, they would use mastic on the mouche to stick the beauty marks to the face, and you would just lick it and stick it. So it is a glue that I believe is from a tree resin. They would mix bat blood and they would leave it on the forehead to make the forehead broad and beautiful and leave no marks at all. So I guess this was a way to get rid of hair without leaving any scars. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward to the 1900s because if you thought that was bad, things get worse. So in the past, things could hurt and burn and you could scar, but in the 1900s, you can die. So they had discovered a permanent way to remove hair. X-rays. Yeah, that's right, radium. In 1885, Leopold Freund, the pioneer of radiotherapy, applied X-rays to a patient with a large hairy growth on her back. After 20 hours of exposure to the X-ray, the hair fell out permanently. So when this was reported in 1901, this became a fad. Like, this took off, the idea of using x-rays to permanently remove hair. Women were pouring into salons and doctor's office to get this treatment. Now, of course, after the dangers of long-term exposure to radiation came to light, x-rays were officially removed from the market. But this didn't stop people from going to back alley salons to get this treatment. That's kind of how desperate, I guess, someone was to completely remove their hair.
Bottoms up.
This book talks all about the history of radium, and a lot of people got very ill, many got cancer, and many actually died. In 1930, a revolutionary product for unwanted body hair hits the market. It is called Creme. Unfortunately, this product contained an ingredient called thallium acetate, also known as rat poison. This product actually crippled some people for life. And this product was promoted as harmless and safe. It was sold at reputable stores like Lord & Taylor's on Fifth Avenue. It was even advertised in Vogue magazine. So millions of people tried this product for unwanted hair. Unfortunately, one woman who actually used it on her face for unwanted facial hair lost all of the hair on her head. She didn't even use it on the scalp, and she used it on the face, and she lost her hair. It is horrifying. I thought I'd just note too, because there are people out there who collect poison bottles, and poison bottles actually became known for a certain shape or a certain like ridge, or it would have the skull and crossbones. And that is because if, let's say, you were going to take aspirin and your bottles all looked the same, and you grabbed those pills and you took the wrong product and it was poisonous, it would kill people. And it happened. So they started marking these bottles. One was shaped like a coffin, again, the skull and crossbones. You would have these sort of ridges on the bottles, or there were certain colors to the bottles. Now, is this product Creme and a few of the other products I'm going to mention that actually led to the formation of the FDA? There was something called the Chamber of Horrors in the 1930s. It also led to this book, which I used to research this video, called Skin Deep. People were talking about ingredients, harmful ingredients, clean cosmetics, all the way back in the 1930s. So regulations did start, but this author, she was calling brands out. They were testing everything for lead. They were telling people what was safe and what wasn't safe. Unfortunately, a lot of the harmful things had already happened by the time this book came out. All these products I'm going to mention. Creme was it was up there with one of the worst products marketed, but it was not the only hair remover to do this. There were many hair removers that contained very harmful ingredients. A lot of people are like, if I use an old makeup product, people will say, oh, there must be lead in that. So they're really, before the 1800s, and even a little bit in the 1800s, maybe sometimes white lead was used in a powder or foundation, but lipsticks and things like that were pretty much always safe. I have recipe books from the 1930s that show lead in hair dye recipes. So yes, hair products seem to be some of the worst. And this one, maybe some of you have heard of it. It was actually a lash dye. You could dye your eyelashes and your eyebrows. You have to keep in mind too, this was a time when, while the flapper and there was this young crowd wearing a ton of makeup, by some parts of society it was still seen to not be so high status to wear a lot of makeup. So you could do things like dye your eyebrows, dye your eyelashes. That would be a more natural way to give definition to your face. This particular eyelash dye, called Lash Lure, contained an aniline dye. So if you've ever noticed any hair dyes, a lot of times they will say like test it on the inside of your wrist or test it on your skin before you apply to your head. That is because some people do have allergies to the dyes. Well, one woman, unfortunately, had a terrible reaction. So terrible, as a matter of fact, that this eyelash dye disfigured her and blinded her. And you can see the pictures, and they are, oh God, they're awful. Another product that was marked as harmless and safe. Okay, as I mentioned, I was gonna touch on freckle removers. For some reason, freckles were despised for centuries, which is why I put these on so intensely, heavily today. I actually grew up with freckles, and I was incessantly made fun of. I actually used IPL treatment, intense pulse light, like the Kenzie that I talked about. I used it to remove my freckles. They're still lightly there, but I can cover them up with foundation. But freckles have really been hated hated for centuries, and only until maybe like Twiggy in the 60s did freckles start to become celebrated. And now freckles are really in. For many centuries, through all skin tones, freckles were really looked down upon. And so these freckle removers and bleaching creams, they were extremely toxic, and there were many brands that used one particular ingredient. And I'm going to tell you that this ingredient is still in some skin bleaching products today, and that is mercury. Yeah, Othine, Stillman, there was even an Elizabeth Arden freckle remover. I mean, these all contained mercury. And as I said, that some products do contain it today. I'll be honest, if it was the 1930s and it was me, I would have been using that product to remove my freckles.
But I think you're gonna need a little bondo on the chin, babe.
This was also a time when getting a suntan became very popular because it showed that you could go to the south of France and have a vacation. So it was a very high status thing to be able to get a suntan in the summer. But what does that happen? What results from that? Of course, when the skin becomes pale again, you are left with freckles. I don't know if this is true, but I think something like hydroquinone today, you can actually use it for a period of time. Maybe it's 12 weeks or something, and it's still considered safe. What is the prolonged use of mercury? What are the symptoms? It would do the opposite to the skin. It could actually make your skin turn gray. The Federal Food and Drug Administration points out that mercury, which is often absorbed, may damage the kidneys, ulcerate the mouth and the gums, and at times with a loss of teeth, and cause necrosis of the jaw. Even death may be the result of its use. I mean, now today, ingredients are required to be listed. If there is something that could possibly be harmful or that needs to be tested for allergies, there is a warning. So we do have that today. To be honest, there were safe options to use back then, but it seemed that the toxic ingredients worked the best. I mean, today with modern technology or modern eyes, we might look down at things from back then, but I mean, look at the stuff we do today. Do we really know the long-term results of Botox or filler?
Morning, Mohammed.
I mean, we're starting to see people really, it's taken a turn for the worse.
I have not had plastic surgery.
Well, good for you.
While modern technology is wonderful and it can do some amazing things, permanent, painless, safe, there's a lot of things that are still being tested, but of course we have the FDA to clear them. So I would say we're pretty lucky today to have modern technology and of course some type of system in place that tells us what is safe and gives us warnings. So yes, I do think we're lucky today. Very interesting information, and I'm gonna do a few more from the Killer Cosmetics series, or whatever the heck I'm gonna call it in the end. Now finally, I just wanna say to you guys, turn the notification bell on because I can't upload regularly. It's literally impossible with my schedule and my real job, but I really enjoy this. I love talking with you guys in the comments. You're so supportive and it is so wonderful to read your comments, and I really do try to reply back to as many of you as possible. YouTube Shorts is only a minute long and it's really hard to get my content under a minute, so often I'm posting on TikTok or Instagram more than I probably do post on YouTube, just in case you're looking out for some content. Of course, I'm gonna try to make this a series, the Killer Cosmetics series. I'm actually traveling to Europe in a week to do some exploration and to solve a cosmetic mystery that has been plaguing me for years. If what I think is the truth, this could actually change history. Anyway, just wanted to say, turn the notification bell on because I can't post regularly, so I want you to be notified when I do post because man, do I have some cool stuff coming. With that said, thank you, as always. I hope to see you on the next one.